Jake Fatu being in the WWE is just going to elevate the talent. It's going to elevate the roster in a way where if you're going to step in that ring with Jacob, you're a veteran or you're someone who's up here, you need to extra step it up because this is a man who can easily outshine the majority of the talent. He definitely could he already did. He outshined Bloodline 2.0. I also said that Jacob is better than Roman. Now, I have skewed that opinion just a little bit because Roman Reigns is one of the GOATs, but I think I've reached a point where I think they're just on the same damn level. And I know Jacob Fatu is so humble and I'm just here being a bitch about the comparison. And Jacob Fatu says that Roman Reigns is on a whole different level. Solo, he's not doing the best job into selling the WWE universe that he is the new tribal chief. And I think that's the point. I think the whole point of Solo is to not be believable because we have a real tribal chief, which is either the final boss or Jacob has been calling the shots this entire time. And Solo was just waiting for Jacob. I have no idea, but I think the best way to save Bloodline 2.0 is by having Jacob be on the mic. I need him to not only be the enforcer that he is, but also like, he's that guy. He's that motherfucking guy and just have him lead. As far as Tama Tonga and Tangaloa, they looked confused when Jacob made his debut. So there might be some friction within the new Bloodline. We could have The Rock, Jacob, Solo, Tama Tonga, Tangaloa versus Roman Reigns, Jimmy, Jay, and Sami Zayn. Paul Heyman would obviously be on Roman Reigns' side. I want to say obviously. I mean, he gets bricked up at the thought of Roman Reigns, so I'm assuming that's who he's going to side with. I know he's not going to side with Solo, but because of the final boss, I'm just thinking if the final boss already got to Heyman before Roman Reigns gets there. I also have been reading on the internet that it doesn't make sense for Sami Zayn to be a part of the Bloodline anymore, which makes no damn sense because he's the honorary Uso. What do you mean? He should be a part, like if it's Bloodline versus Bloodline, he should definitely be a part of the original Bloodline. If it wasn't for him, the Bloodline story would still be good, but he elevated it to a whole different level. He added a comedic aspect and entertaining aspect. You wanted to root for Sami. You wanted him to be an honorary Uso. So he is extremely pivotal to one of the greatest storylines of all time. I was in Tokyo last week, so Monday Night Raw was spectacular. It was a fantastic Monday Night Raw. We had the Uncle Howdy debut, and I was in Japan, so I had to watch it as soon as I got back to the hotel, which was like the next day. And then on NXT, we had Joe frickin' Hendry show up. We had Frankie Kazarian in the Battle Royale as well. But like Joe frickin' Hendry showed up to NXT and I wasn't even here for it. So this was a great, phenomenal week for the WWE. Monday Night Raw was one of the greatest Raws I have not witnessed live because I wasn't fucking here for it. But Tuesday NXT was also a good show. And then Friday Night SmackDown, when you think you have reached a plateau of like holy shit moments, they debuted Jacob Fatu, and it was in the perfect city of Chicago to debut Jacob Fatu because it would be a crime to debut him to a crowd that isn't so smarky. Because when Kairi Sane returned, I was livid because the crowd did not give a fuck about Kairi Sane, and you should give a fuck about Kairi Sane. But Jacob showed up. He showed up in Chicago. Chicago treated him right. And within a couple of minutes, he did what we all expected him to do, which is outshine the entirety of the Bloodline. As far as the matches go, I'm eagerly waiting for him to have a face-off with Bronson Reed, with Nick Aldis. I know he's going to have one with Nick Aldis. He's the general manager of SmackDown. So when that happens, that'll be cool. Because in House of Glory Revelations, they did have a match for the title. Jacob Fatu won, obviously. No disrespect, Nick Aldis, but also you bought all this damn security. I know it was for Uncle Howdy. Paul Heyman even said to CM Punk that the security is not going to help him, which means, therefore, the security is not going to help if Jacob Fatu just comes in there running. But like, you spent all this time on getting damn security, and if you're going to have security, at least make it more realistic where like, I'm gonna add extra security because of Uncle Howdy, but also if shit goes down, I got my security. Am I happy that the security didn't end up working? Yes, because we saw Drew McIntyre beat the shit out of CM Punk, which was a fucking glorious spectacle. I love CM Punk, but damn it, Drew McIntyre is doing some of his best work right now. And This man quit on Monday Night Raw, and he's not only is he a certified yapper, he can't even properly win the damn title because he's showboating. He can't do that, and then he's not even a good quitter. This man quit on Monday Night Raw, and then he showed up on Friday Night SmackDown. He said, I can't stand this company anymore, or something along the lines of that, and he still showed up. You're not even a good damn quitter. Speaking of quitting, of course, Ricochet. So Ricochet they usually give nasty send-offs to people that they don't necessarily see value or prioritize in. They don't necessarily leave the way they want to leave. They just kill them off or beat the shit out of them. And we know where he's going. He's going to be All Elite. He's going to AEW. AEW is the only other company that's going to pay him the same, if not more. And he's going to be able to do what he wants to do. Ricochet's actually a pretty good talker too, so I don't like that WWE didn't allow him to talk as much as he probably wanted to talk, or he should have. Because everybody thinks, oh, well, yeah, he's just that guy that does a bunch of cool little flippy stuff, but like, there's no aura. Like, that's all he is, and that's fucking disrespectful, and that is not true at all. So I can't wait until we see Ricochet in AEW, if it's true, because we haven't seen him yet, and there still hasn't been confirmation that he's actually leaving, but I mean, based off everything that's happened, that's pretty much a done deal. Now, let's transition into Uncle freaking Howdy. Uncle Howdy had one of the greatest debuts I've ever freaking seen. That moment where you see Perk Gable, and talk about Perk Gable, don't tell me you're gonna shoot him. Or it looks like a freaking gunshot. Don't tell me you're gonna murder this man, and then on Twitter you're gonna be like, oh, Chad Gable is cleared. It's cleared for action. Like, so, it just, for me, I feel like it just destroys, like, the validity of the story, but whatever. Like, I'm not gonna be too picky because they had one of the greatest debuts of all time, but the transition of Perk Gable just there, and then you see Uncle Howdy kind of doing, like, the little Joker stuff. 10 out of 10, perfection. I think less is more. So we had a spectacular debut. Do I necessarily need Uncle Howdy to keep taking everybody down, or do we need them every single week? I think the anticipation of not knowing if they're going to be there every week is a lot better. Also, who is the sixth member? Is it Bray and Spirit in the lantern that Uncle Howdy is holding? Did we all just get bamboozled because it's spelled SICKS? But they do still use 6. Do I want it to be Alexa Bliss? I don't. I think she stands alone. I think she should be standing alone. If they want to bring her in, that's fine. But if Alexa Bliss is returning to full-time in-ring action, I'd rather her just come back as Alexa Bliss, because she's a star in her own right. And I feel like her being within the Wyatt Six, I think it's sort of detrimental towards the sort of faction that they're building. You know, they're getting these lost souls, Nikki Cross, Dexter Lumis, Joe Gacy. I feel like the foundation of the faction is not only just because their family betrayed them or they were lost. They didn't stand alone and become this huge sensation, but Alexa Bliss is a star in her own right. So I'd rather her just come back as Alexa Bliss. That being said, if they bring her in, am I going to be like, oh, I didn't want this? I don't give a fuck. Give it to me. That's fine. I'll eat it. I'll ingest it, and I'll